everyone, it is Wednesday. That means it's time for the midweek challenge. Steve here again with you. Today and through November, we're answering your questions instead of me just giving you a challenge. And the question today is evil. Well, it's not an evil question, but it is the question about evil. And that's a good question that many people have had. In other words, if there really is a God who is a good God, a powerful God, a loving God, then why in the world is there evil in the world? Well, when you think about it, we can address that question by looking at that characteristic of God, that He is loving. And with that, what we need to understand about love, you have to allow free will. Free will basically means the ability to choose. And we understand that with human relationships. A healthy human relationship allows freedom for the other person to choose. And God is perfect in His love. Therefore, He has allowed free will, the ability for us to choose. Now, evil comes because mankind has chosen to rebel against God. And we have all of the ramifications with that. So that's why we have evil. The question follow-up is, well, what is God doing about it? Well, a couple things. Number one, we need to understand that God is covertly working in ways that we can't understand. Paul put it this way in Romans 8:28, that we know that in all things God is working for the good for those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. In other words, somehow God will bring some good out of the evil that is around us. But then number two, we need to understand that there will be a day of final judgment. In other words, sometimes people say, well, God's not doing anything. He's never going to do anything. But the Bible is very clear. History is very clear. There will be a day of reckoning when the final curtain will come down and judgment will be exacted against those who rebelled against Him. But here's an interesting thing. The greatest act of evil is death. And in a very true sense, Jesus Christ has already defeated death when He rose from the grave. And we can know, because of the assurance of His resurrection, that there is hope and there will be the assurance of a future resurrection for those who love Him. There will be a final day of judgment. But then also, finally, here's kind of the challenge to it. I said there's not going to be a challenge, but there is a challenge. It's really easy to point at the evil. Man, those people are evil. That's evil. They're all evil. But we need to look at our own heart and realize there are times we allow evil ourselves. But here's the challenge. Paul says this also in Romans chapter 12, verse 21, that we are not to be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. So the challenge out of this question is, what are you doing about it? I want to challenge you this week to focus more time, not so much on the evil around the world, but especially those who know Jesus. To remember what Jesus did for us on the cross, and to go into your workplace, go into your homes, in a culture where everybody's seeking their own good, but to go out and to serve others and do good for others. That's the challenge from the question today about why in the world do we have evil in the world. So if this is helpful for you, again, I want to ask you to give it a thumbs up on YouTube, to share it on Facebook, to like it, and ultimately follow the Kingdomology blog where I do a lot of the writing, and you can also order the Confessions book. So that's it for today. Be strong, and I'll see you again next week.